Hi, I'm John Solari, your host of The Method Actor Speaks. And today we have two lovely, beautiful, and talented women. And I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself, and starting with the movie star.
The movie star.
Movie star. I really like you, John. My name is Lorna Richards, and I'm from South Africa.
And the writer?
The writer, Barbara Sternig, author and journalist, author of Secrets of a Tabloid Reporter, as you can see right here, available on Amazon.
But it's not secrets anymore.
These are the revelations of the secrets.
Right, it's not a
yes.
secret
The
anymore.
book that answers the questions.
That's from the Enquirer.
National Enquirer, where I was a senior reporter for 20 years. And for the first time, this book answers the two most asked questions. Is any of that stuff true? And the second one, how do you get that stuff? Here it is.
That's really because the Enquirer actually was one of the few tabloid papers that really was always telling the truth.
That is correct, and people poo-pooed it. Stars would file lawsuits, but of course, they never followed up because our stories were perfectly true.
99% of the time, I mean...
Yeah, well, the headlines would be quite thunderous.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're thinking of the Weekly World News, actually. That was the one that had alien walks with
Yes.
presidents.
Oh, yeah, like, yes, yeah.
I thought
The
it was-
Enquirer was a celebrity.
The Enquirer was, because I was involved with that, with the Robert Blake case
Oh my gosh, yes.
way back. Now, before we get into tabloids, I really want to talk about, I saw you in the movie The M Word. Now, the Henry Jagler, who directed it.
I came from, as I said, I came from South Africa. When I left South Africa, we virtually didn't have TV at all. This was about 20 years ago. I'm lying in bed, I'm watching TV, and I see this real divorce, real actor, real wife, real lawyer, real home, and I was like blown away, reality. And I thought, this Henry Jagler, I'll have to meet him. So
What was that movie, if I may ask?
Always.
Always.
No, the one where he gets divorced from his real wife and everything. So, with difficulty, because I just immigrated, I managed to find his address, and I got all dressed up. I put a carnation in my hair. I wrote him a poem, sent him the photograph with the poem, and I thought I'll never hear from him. And two days later, he called me. We spoke for 3 hours, and we've been friendly for over 20 years.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah. And
Have you been in his other films too?
no, but I've written together with him, just very briefly, on one that hasn't come out yet. It's called Gender. I don't know if he's ever going to do it. But I've been very involved.
What is the name?
Gender.
Gender?
Yeah, I don't know if
So it's about changing genders?
no, it's about female gender and male gender and,
How they work?
Together.
no, sorry, how they
Separately.
don't work.
How they don't work is, well, we are two different breeds.
Yeah,
And I don't think there's anything similar outside of desire.
right.
It's kind of like Yorkies and Dalmatians.
Yeah, that's right. It's true. I mean, really. But it was an interesting film, the M Word, for folks out there that don't realize, about menopause and the woman.
Right.
Now, how did you deal with that
Well,
as an actor and as a human, as a woman?
that's what I really love about Henry, is that he just allows you to be who you are. And there's no script, with the woman.
Right.
It's the same as eating and baby fever, and there's one other one.
It's improv.
We're just,
Well, yeah,
we're just ourselves, and I
It
think,
gives you an outline.
I think you could see the pain that some of the women go through, and the feeling that you're not who you were before.
Perhaps emotional pain more than physical.
Oh yeah, well,
Yeah.
yeah. Physical pain a bit too, but much more emotional.
Have you seen the movie?
Yes, I
And what was it'd be interesting, your reaction to it.
Well, I thought every woman has a different experience with that, and this was certainly a format in which lots of ladies could say a lot of different things about it. It was interesting. Henry is an unusual filmmaker, of course, unique. And
Right.
I don't think anybody else makes movies
No.
like that. I mean, they are unusual. It's not everybody's cup of tea,
Not a lot of men's cup of tea.
yeah.
Well, I saw the one when he made about the need to be loved. I think I'm messing up the title, but it was really a wonderful movie. And I fell in love with his movies. Very sensitive movies. It's very
Yes.
Sensitive to women's needs.
right.
And as Lorna says, also very real, because I mean, the people are saying real things. It's real. It's not made up. I mean, that's real stuff.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to. I wanted to ask him about the way he, like you said, he gives you an outline. That's very Italian. The Italian films were done a lot like that.
We had no outline. We just arrived at the TV station not knowing anything. He had a little bit of an outline for the other actors, you know,
Right.
with Tana and Michael Imperioli. But with us, we were just sitting there, you know, talking to each other, walking around and expressing how we really, really feel.
That's what makes it work.
Yeah.
You know, when I do this show, I never talk beforehand, and whatever comes out comes out.
True.
And it's because this way you're not directing yourself,
Right.
and everything is coming out as real. And that's the way he works as a director, and that's the way you should work as an actor. That's what you strive for.
Such an unusual person too. He's just one of a kind. He's a very antique person.
He's one of my
amazing
best girlfriends. You know, do you know him at all? Do you know his story?
We're both members of the Actors Studio, and I don't know him personally. I would love to get to know the guy because, you know, I like the way he works.
You've had Tana on your
Yes,
show?
I had her on the show, the
Yeah.
cast, when she was doing The Rainmaker.
Right.
had
Did you
no-
see that?
No, I didn't get a chance. I wasn't feeling well.
Wonderful.
So,
Yeah, it was
yeah, I
really
did the
wonderful.
play back in the 60s myself.
great.
You know, I played Starbuck. But
I can
it
see
was-
you as Starbuck.
yeah, I was a New York actor then. So do you want to, now did you study acting, or everything you did was just you?
Well, in South Africa, I was a photographic model.
I
And
could
I-
see that.
And thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
And it wasn't really, you know, that you could do acting. So I did a few like little things. When I came out here, I mean, I was like, never mind my ex-husband and my children. I mean, I wanted to come here. I mean that in a nice way, not a...
No, but I mean, but then here, why did you want to come to America, Hollywood?
I wanted to come to Los Angeles. 'Cause
To get into business?
Well, we'd visited here a lot, and out of everywhere, to me, this was, you know, the celebrities and the actors.
Oh,
Just-
okay, yeah.
So I went to Charles Conrad. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. He was an acting teacher in Burbank.
Oh, it's right by here.
Dee Wallace was in his school. Linda Gray from Dallas. He was quite well known. And I did that, and then I did a commercial workshop, and I was asked to do a commercial in Mexico, and I didn't have a green card. I didn't have my citizenship yet, so I couldn't go. So then I had to give it up for many years, and now that I've had a taste of it again, I really would like to get back in.
Now, are you willing to do background work and all of that?
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's right over here, central
Right.
casting and all the rest.
Yeah.
I would think you would work a lot in background, because you have a, a unique look.
I do as well.
Unique, very,
Cute,
you know,
pretty.
yes, yeah, and it's not a common look. It's very attractive, very classy. So I could see you working quite a bit.
Oh, how many hours can I stay here? Then you can carry on talking.
No, I mean, I would think you
How about
would
some
work.
introductions, John?
Yes, but now, where are you from, Barbara?
I'm originally from Chicago.
I had a feeling, a lot of
Glencoe.
writers.
Yeah.
Northwestern, did you go there?
No, I went to Marquette University,
Okay.
where I studied journalism. And but I came to Los Angeles many, many years ago after I graduated from college, and just had an amazing series of events happen that plunked me right in the middle of Hollywood, covering every major movie star. I ended up as the writer for Rona Barrett. I don't know if you remember.
I was always a very attractive woman. I always found
yes. And
little short blonde.
Exactly, and she was a real pioneer in television gossip. She was the only game in town at that time.
Right, right.
And so we were invited everywhere. There were so many invitations coming in every day that I took half, she took half, and we were just out at every event, party, opening, you name it. And that was kind of my grounding in celebrity reporting. So when Rona went off the air on Channel 11, which was syndicated around the country as Metro Media, then I went to work for the National Enquirer, taking my book full of contacts with me, which really made my career there. And but you know, I also found that I had a sort of a mischievous streak, and ended up doing a lot of sleuthing that I never dreamed I would be doing. I almost called this book "If Mom Ever Knew," because
especially her mother. She was the sweetest little innocent woman.
She really was. And so that's what this book is all about. It's all about these crazy situations I ended up in the middle of with very famous people doing very naughty things that, you know, that they half the time, especially the Frank Sinatra chapters are the most
Francis Albert.
thrilling ones of all. Those happened during the 1970s, and I covered him, mainly the real chapter that everybody goes crazy for is called Into the Spider's Web, in which I was sent up as a newly minted National Enquirer reporter to compare Sinatra's lifestyle with that of John Denver, who was on the same bill with him at Harris. And that was all they told me. Where do you start? How do you do it? Amazing. So I really put my thinking cap on, and I realized, of course, Frank Sinatra hated ladies of the press. He just couldn't stand them. He called them.
Kitty, what's her name? That's the one.
Oh, Kitty Kelly. Oh my God, yeah, but she was way after this. So at this time I thought the only thing I can really do is pose as a fan and try to get next to him somehow. So this chapter is all about how I managed to do that, starting with sidling up to a pit boss and doing a little bit of wiggling and jiggling, and finally getting him to tell me where Sinatra hung out in Harris, and from there it just took off. I ended up in the middle of his entourage of thugs and henchmen and people with...
Break your camera?
No. They didn't even know I was a reporter. These guys had names like Spider, Frankie Eyelashes, Jimmy the Head, Frankie the Hook. You know, these were really the guys that were his amusing, and of course, the infamous and famous Jilly Rizzo.
Jilly, yes.
Yeah, he was a great character. I mean, these were all great characters.
They were all great.
Yeah, and so anyway, this has all about them in that chapter, and then it has many other chapters about many other famous people, Richard Burton and, you know, I don't know, Tammy Wynette, Angie, the older people, and you know, one by one, a lot of them have died, but the book came out before they died. So
really.
Yeah, but I'm in the middle of...
it has to be an exciting book for the reason... I had Carmine Caridi on yesterday, day before yesterday, who was the original Sonny in The Godfather, supposed to be.
Really?
And before, you know, they gave before Jimmy Caan got it. And I was talking to him and talking about, I mean, he lived in an era, the 60s and 70s out here as an actor. And you as a reporter had to be the greatest outside of the roaring 20s.
It was the golden age. It was I couldn't have planned it if I wrote a script for my life any better. To be working at the mightiest tabloid of them all from the 70s until the 90s. And it was quite a ride, I will tell you. In those days, our publisher loved reporters and he loved editors. He thought nothing about putting 12 reporters on a Learjet to drop us in the middle of any story anywhere. I really traveled the world for the National Enquirer. It was a hard job. It was often a thankless job. The celebrities were frightened of it. A lot of them didn't want to talk to you. But our paper supported us 100%. We were highly paid. We had endless expense accounts, and we were given... True, I used to... Lorna.
How I met Barbara, so the same as I stalked Henry virtually. I'm also watching TV and I see this woman hiding in a restaurant, hiding behind flower pots, standing behind tables, underneath tables.
Well, we have to not exactly that much, but you know, true. Doug Friedel from Channel 4 did a report, A Day in the Life of a National Enquirer reporter, and we staged all this stuff.
So I thought I have to meet her. Yeah. How did I get on? I got on with the National Enquirer. They didn't want to give me a number.
I think you called NBC because Doug had done the story.
Yeah, Doug. Yes. But then I said, I have an enormous story for you. So they gave me your private numbers and everything.
So I said, well, listen, let me take you to dinner and you'll tell me about it. So we go to dinner, of course, there's no story. and she really was obviously just enchanted or enamored of the idea. But I thought, gosh, you know, she's so cute, you know, what the heck?
But in the meantime, we had some...
we became very good friends.
Experiences together.
We did, and we've had a lot of fun together over many years.
Yeah, we've traveled a lot. We've been to Death
Valley. Yes, that's just one.
Oh, Death Valley.
Death Valley. So she's...
The desert.
Death
Valley.
You make it sound exciting.
It was nice. And we saw a Sidewinder on the road. And
really?
Everything. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Very exciting, 124 degrees.
We had to leave our dogs at home that time. Yeah.
Really? God.
But no, we've had a lot of great times, and you know, it's amazing the people that you meet. Not everybody turns out to be that inside source that tells you all the blockbusters, but you might make a very good friend, you know, and that is what happened in our case, and we've adventured a lot.
But I did go with her on some occasions.
Yes, she came along as
And we went to the races or something once, and this guy, do you remember, he came up to you, was so furious with her because she was...
Was it at Hollywood Park?
At Hollywood Park.
Yeah. Hollywood Park,
and he said he'd seen her on TV and she'd written something about someone that he knew or something, and we thought we actually were lucky that we managed to drive out of there because he was getting ready to absolutely
take us in the alley or something and
I
do
said,
that.
I know nothing about the National
It's her. But these things happen, you know, and you know, as we have both learned, it's a lot of fun. In LA, there's always something happening, whether you're in journalism, whether you're attracted to the acting arts. You know, there's always so much going on.
I love LA, especially coming from South Africa.
Now, what was your favorite, if you had one, of the stories you did?
Well, oh boy, that's such a difficult question. There were so many great stories. I'll tell you who was a very...
In which category?
And exactly which... I'll tell you who was a very close friend of mine and his family was Mike Landon. Bonanza, Little House on the Prairie, Highway to Heaven. And Mike made a real evolution in his relationship to the National Enquirer. When I first met him, the press agent had to be there, and he wouldn't even look me in the eye. He directed all his answers to his press agent. He was just so keen. By the end of 17 years and many, many front pages, I was told when he left his first wife, Lynn, and the children behind and went off with the makeup girl, I was told, you can ask him anything, but don't ask him about that. So I was honoring the deal, and I sat down with Michael, and he said, Barbara, I know you're dying to know what happened, so let me tell you, I trust you. And he gave me the whole story.
And then what did you do with it?
Well, it was the front page of the National Enquirer.
Okay.
Yeah, and he was great. He really was a very forthright man. I loved working with Mike. I became very good friends. I'm still good friends with his wife. Mike died so young. The wife before that was his widow. So those were big favorites. I loved Richard Burton. I had a very amusing, hilarious story, which is actually in the book, covering Richard Burton after his final breakup with Elizabeth, and he married this little gal called Susie Hunt. And anyway, I was trying to get down to the bottom of that story, and
that must have been rough for her.
Oh yeah,
being married to Richard Burton, who was still in love with Elizabeth Taylor.
Yes,
and a lot of the stories that Barbara tells, I have like some 6 degrees of separation because Richard Burton and Elizabeth Taylor came out to South Africa to buy the diamond, and happened.
Oh, the Hope Diamond.
The Hope Diamond.
It wasn't the Hope Diamond. Was it the Hope Diamond?
No.
A big diamond.
It was. I thought she bought.
It was the Faith and Charity Diamond.
I thought it was the Hope. Well, go ahead. I apologize.
Okay, no, I'm trying to remember if it was. Anyway, I was in some competition that they had a tennis event, all the players from overseas, and then they had like a fashion afterwards. It was like a competition, and I won the competition, and Elizabeth Taylor was giving out the prizes. So she said to me, "Who did your nails? Have you got a manicurist?" So I said, "Yes," and we actually met that way, took her to my manicurist. My manicurist said she'd never seen such terrible nails in her life.
Poor Elizabeth did not have the
And
most
then
gorgeous hands, but she tried.
She was such a sweet, beautiful, wonderful woman.
Good actor too.
Yeah, wonderful. And then about 10 years later, I went to the World Cup in Germany, and she was with the sixth husband, the politician.
John Warner.
John Warner, yeah.
And she recognized me, and she said, "Come and have drinks with us."
Ah.
So, and then, you know,
Yes. Well, you know, Los
serendipity.
Angeles, as everybody who lives here, who's in the industry in one way or the other, finds out, it's a very small town.
It really
It's
is.
a very
yeah.
small town. It's a big small town is what it is.
It really is.
The connections that you have with people that you meet, once you really get into delving into it, you find that you're completely like tied together like that.
There's always a thread.
Yeah.
It's not 6 degrees of separation anymore, it's 4.7.
4.7.
Is that what
We'll
they
quote you on that?
Huh?
We'll quote you on
Yes,
that.
it's true.
Okay. Speak up a little bit. I didn't hook up the mic. I
Uh,
want to make sure we hear you.
as long as you understand me, Henry
That's-
says after 20 years, he still can't understand me.
Can't understand you. I got
Understood
that.
you. I can't.
Yeah, see, she got it right away.
Yeah, well,
Marie.
she's had practice.
Now, what do you, besides being a reporter and an actor, what do you enjoy doing? Family, friends?
Travel. I'm a world traveler. I've made 5 world trips on the QE2 before the
Really?
real QE2.
She worked for Magician. She's been cut in half.
in between Rona and the National Enquirer, that's true. I worked for about 9 months for a magician on the Princess cruises when they only had 3 little ships, back before cruising became the end-all and be-all. But it was, again, I feel like I was...
Before you got poisoned.
Before I actually
Before
did
people
lose
got
my
poisoned.
lower half. Yeah, I used to get levitated on the high seas and cut into thirds, and you know, I was the ta-da girl, ta-da, you know, the little misdirection.
You would have made a great actor.
I would.
Yeah,
You're very open, and it's,
Very. Yeah.
you know, I teach acting, and it's not, and believe it or not, I always found some of the best talent out there was porn stars.
Porn stars.
And who,
They know how to act.
no, they don't know how to act. I used to try to teach them,
Right.
and then they can, you know, cross over.
Well, you know what I mean.
For the simple reason that they're open. Acting is about being open. And your job as a reporter, you got to be open to what you see.
You have to be open, and you also have to listen.
Yeah, right. That's
Because it's not your job. to
That's what
talk
acting
as we're
is.
talking now. As a reporter, it's just like the magic of Johnny Carson.
Right.
Why was he the best? He knew how to listen.
hey, listen, right?
He asked a question and he let his guests speak. They made the show. He got them to make the show. And it's the same as a reporter. You really have to know the question. You have to be able to ask it in a way that's, as an Enquirer reporter, that's not a threatening way, so that people feel comfortable with you and they speak. Then
You're so right. It's funny you mentioned Johnny Carson, because Helen Sanders, who was his private secretary for 30 years, is now, she runs Actors Studio West out here. And, you know,
I didn't know.
she's the best. But you're right. I mean, well, a lot of that. When you were talking about that, listening, and I was going to bring it to you again now, that's what the feelings that come out of the movie M, is because you were listening to each other and the emotion.
And it got the next one started on her story.
It just keeps flowing.
Right.
And it's such a contagious, beautiful thing that happens
So
on
who
screen.
asked the question? Henry.
Right.
you all listened
Right.
and spoke.
Right. What was that like when he would ask you the question? What was it? Give us, what did he say to you, if I may ask?
Well, he doesn't really say to you, you know, we just like start talking between us, and something that we say.
But it gives you a subject.
Well,
no?
We were discussing, you know, menopause.
Okay. That's for the audience to know.
From all different, everybody feels differently about it, you know. Some people have, their whole lives have been their children and their husbands, and other women have gone off to their careers. And in a way, when you go through menopause and your children leave home and you don't have your profession anymore, it's even harder because you feel that you can't get back there into being who you were, into doing what you were. And you have to find other things to subsidize that.
Could I ask you ladies a personal question on menopause as a man? And I know
and it's not menopause. I'm not posing with men.
I know. Well, that'd be nice too. Because I often, as a man, and I know a lot of men out there probably feel, I meet a lot of women, you know, that are over the age of 50. Right. All my life, I've always been attracted to older women. You know, I've always been attracted. But I find a lot of women, the sex part, I mean, sexually, they lose a lot of that.
Well, every woman's
I know individual, but I mean.
But I've found it even more, you know.
Really?
Really.
Because most, I don't know, if I may ask,
sure.
It's a very personal question.
I'm not so worried about, you know.
Getting pregnant, you mean?
No, I'm not so worried about, you know, so my body's not perfect anymore. So, you know, I don't look the way I looked before. So that when a man is in my life, he's there because, not because of the dressing, but for me.
Yeah, but you have a beautiful dressing. Still, no, I mean, both of you.
Thank
I mean, you know, when you both, I got.
You just like my last interview. With my vibrator.
Yeah, you didn't want to talk about the vibrator. Okay, I don't remember that. But I found you
I thought that's why you invited me.
No.
Okay.
No, I didn't even think of that one.
Well, I think if a woman likes men, you don't stop liking men. You still have, there's just nothing like the electricity and the connection between a man and a woman, and why does that have to change? I'm always speaking, and Ed, we shared a sort of a name game together. She was going with Fred, I was going with Ed, the Fred and Ed show. But no, I mean, you know, if the attraction towards men is strong in you when you're youthful, I think as you get older, there's no change in that. You still, the only trouble for me is that I'm still attracted to men of 35, just like what I was when I was 25.
Well, I'm the opposite, I think. But it's just that I meet a lot of women who are not really, they're looking more for
substance,
partners,
yeah,
more than lovers.
Travel mates, companions.
Companions.
To me, number one is humor, to be able to laugh.
Well, that's why when you were saying about men and women, we're two different species. Well, if he's going to do the thing about gender. You know,
what about men? Do men ever lose their sexual oomph? I mean, does that ever happen?
No, not for me.
I don't think
speak for myself. No, and men that I talk to, no. But I do find it in women.
Yeah. Well, I think possibly some women have been through it. You know, they've been through it. They've had children. They're tired. Maybe that's it. I don't know.
And they're married to the same man, you know.
Right, and they're so used to that, and I don't know. I'm divorced. I've been divorced for many years. I was single for many years, so I don't have that issue for me. But you know, I know that is definitely the case with some. And then I think women immerse themselves in their grandchildren after menopause. Many women do that.
If you don't have them, then
if you don't have them, you don't even know the aging process feels different to you. You don't have reminders of it in children and grandchildren.
Wow. So. Well, we're going to stop right there for a minute.